Alright, day 2 in California. We're heading to Dana Point, which is just north of Camp Pendleton, so it's about an hour and a half from where we're at right now. And we actually went to this guy the other day to diagnose a high pressure oil leak on his 7.3 diesel and his 99 F350. We got there and the truck would not start. That was a major concern that was ongoing, and he was thinking, you know, batteries, starter relays, glow plug relays, all this time. In all reality, once I got there, we knew the batteries were charged. We found it was the starter, so I was able to diagnose the starter for him and replace the starter for him. I have a little video on that I'll put up eventually. And we got it started so that I can you know, see where the high pressure oil leak was, because the valley of the engine was so full of oil. I just needed to clean it and start fresh. So we did that, got it started, and I found the high pressure fittings on, they were leaking pretty bad, which is very common on these. The O-rings go bad and it just lets all the oil loose out of there. The fitting itself, if the line snaps into it, isn't usually a problem. It's the O-ring where the fitting goes into the high pressure pump on there. So I was able to replace the starter, do all this extra stuff, and fix the oil leak, and then head back down to San Diego and drop the family off at the airport just in the nick of time to fly out of here. They had a flight going on at 7 o'clock, and you know, I-5 traffic in California is horrible, especially at that time of day. So everything got done. The one thing I forgot to do, and he mentioned when we left, I was just in such a rush to get out of there because I had to take the family to the airport in time. He mentioned he had hard starting issues at times where it just would take a little longer, even when it was cranking, just to fire the engine. And I totally forgot. I brought along the Hot Shot Secret Stuff product to give to him so he could try it out. The vehicle has 150,000 miles on it. It was a service truck for Caterpillar around the plant or whatever, and I'm sure nothing's ever been cleaned out in the fuel system. It's very important on the HUE systems, both in the fuel side and especially the oil side, to clean out all that varnish and sticky oil and it's sludge that's built up inside of there over all those miles. So we're heading back up there to drop that stuff off to him, and we'll do a little video on that and tell him about that, how it all works and all that stuff. And he also wanted me to quickly check a few different electrical issues he's having on the vehicle, like ABS lights, airbag lights, maybe a check engine light, I'm not sure, stuff like that. And so I said, sure, I'll stop by and we'll drop the product off and we'll go for a test drive and pull the scan tool out and see what we find. It's a lot easier for me to do it quickly than go somewhere and they say it's be hours of labor to diagnose it before you even can tell you what the problem is or what the part you need. So I'm gonna go take care of that for him real quick, because I have 2 other stops today. One in Frazier Park, which is about an hour, 2 hours north of here, and then the last stop is in Reedley, California, which is another 2 hours or so from there, 2-3 hours. So we need to get all these stops done today, so tomorrow we can head to Reno, Nevada, Lake Tahoe, and Carson City, Nevada. All those are kind of like a cluster there, and take care of those, and then we're going to start heading down and south and east to Salt Lake City for the big job out there.
You have reached your destination on the left.
He's got his truck outside, which is good. It's easier to work on that way. Let's just... Oh, his dog's wandering around.
What?
His dog's like, these idiots are back.
God damn it.
Alright, we're out here at Dana Point, and we're checking a bunch of different codes on the vehicle here to see what's what. And I just pulled codes on it. Bunch of things going off in the cluster there. But we have the 1229 coherency and 1230. Those are the most common codes for the rear diff sensor. The input circuit failure means the coil inside of there is open, and the coherency is between the front and rear speed down there, and the fact that it came in and out for a while and then finally died right here. So we already know that's what that is. Okay, that's why I kind of told him the other day, but I just want to verify codes, see what the current fault is. Those are very, very common. The vibration back there, the coils, the coils come apart inside of the rear diff speed sensor on there. The next code on here is a 470. Again, very common code for the back pressure sensor on there. They get a bunch of acid from the exhaust coming up and through to the bottom side of this ceramic disc on there, and it eats away at it, and it pulls that, it sets that 470 code. So for that, again, common issue, you change the EBP sensor, and then you punch out the bore on the tube coming up to it to feed it from the right-hand exhaust manifold, and you get it clear so it gets a good reading of the actual exhaust back pressure. Now, the PO500, that's all coming from the rear diff sensor. The rear diff sensor is what it uses for, it takes the rear diff sensor information, the raw information, and then calculates it through the PCM and the cluster on here based on tire size and stuff like that. It'll actually calculate your speed for your cluster. So that's why it's set in a PO500, because the rear diff sensor is out of whack, and at this point it's totally not working. 603 K power, that could be anything from us disconnecting the battery the other day. That's pretty darn common. Now let's see here, we got here, see, he's got both of them. This is a tone indicator shorted to ground. Don't worry about something like that, I'm not worried about that. The problem is on this one is this one right here, it shows that's why we're getting all that beeping you heard in the beginning of the video here. The 1869 is the lamp airbag warning indicator, circuit failure. That's for the light bulb in the cluster that tells you that there's an airbag fault of any kind. It's always watching that every time it starts up, every time it proves out the cluster, it's checking that bulb, and it's also checking this one over here, the passenger airbag deactivation switch. There's a little light right there in the center. I know I got you nice and close in there. And also watches that one, same as the one in the cluster here. And even though there's no actual faults in the vehicle as far as pre-tensioners or crash sensors, it's very important for it to watch those two bulbs, those two warning indicators. So it will set codes, as you see here. Here's the other one. Find that mouse again. 1884 right there, and that's for the passenger pad. Warning lamp circuit failure. And like I said before, like on the F-150s and stuff like that, the bulb is an incandescent bulb, and it's just going to vibrate and burn out over time, especially if you have it in the off position all the time. It's just like any incandescent, the filament's going to burn out. So as I figured, it was all common issues. I just need to report back to them what to change, and like I said, the diagnosis is what the dealer really gets you for. So if I can help them out in that way, so I point in the right direction instead of guessing. It's the best thing I can do right now. We need to head north yet. But yeah, there's a couple different faults in here, different subsystems of the vehicle, and it's just common faults that have accumulated over time. You thought there was a major electrical issue with the ground or something like that, but you gotta realize as the vehicles get older, vibrations, time and all that, that there's many systems that go out eventually, especially after you hit the 100,000 mile mark on here. So that's good to know. That's all simple things, and I can tell them exactly what to change with confidence.